Hello and welcome back to the MoneyHub show. My name is Zipporah Dankwa. I'm your host, and for this MoneyHub series of motherhood and business, it has been absolutely amazing. But today we are wrapping up with part three. We cannot forget about our mothers in the tech business. These are women that are breaking glass ceilings and making the way for us to understand AI and all other things to make our lives easier. Oh, it's been amazing having these business moms. But today, I am going to make it in a little bit of a different way, right? We usually have a panel discussion. Today, we're going to take each mom, and as it happens, it is so funny that our tech moms are going to be online. So, firstly, I'm going to introduce our first guest, and then we're going to speak to our next guest afterwards. Okay? So, firstly, I would like to introduce to you Nana Adwoa Amponsah Mensah, who is a corporate and transactions lawyer, an entrepreneur, and a chief executive officer of the Poka app, which is Poka Technology with the Poka Health App. With over 3 years of experience in turning innovative ideas into market ready solutions, she blends legal expertise with business acumen to drive growth and impact. As a mother of two, Nana Adwoa balances her professional pursuits with a deep commitment to family, leadership, and innovation in the digital space. I know that's a mouthful of an introduction, but I would love to hear from our mom specifically a little bit about her. Welcome, Nana Adwoa.
Thank you, Zipporah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining us. This is such an amazing topic, especially motherhood. And this is conversations that I wish I had heard about before I gave birth. But I am so glad that I still get the privilege to do this. Honestly, this is just my personal, um, should I say, therapy session that I've created here. So I'm pretty happy that my audience are also enjoying the topics as well. Welcome, welcome.
Great.
Thank you for being here. So,
Thank you for having
Nanadra,
me.
firstly, I'm kind of going to go right into it. Can you tell us, introduce yourself in your own words, for example, and share
Mhm.
what inspired you to create your business, the Poka Health App?
Okay, my name is Nana Adwoa, like you've already said. Nana Adwoa Amponsah Mensah. I'm Whenever somebody asks, like, introduce yourself, I try to figure out what to lead with. Is it my job? Is it the things I like?
Yes.
Because is my job who I am? Fair enough. Okay, so I'm Nana Adwoa and I'm a lawyer, an entrepreneur, like you said. I'm also a mother. I'm a writer, and I love tea. That's an important thing that I think everybody needs to know about me. So the Poka Health App, it's a prayer tracker for African women, and the intention is to go much further than just tracking periods to tracking the entirety of African women's reproductive journeys, from periods to pregnancies to menopause.
Yeah.
Because not only are those conversations not as centralized for women generally, but it's
Yeah.
even worse for African women. And I
Mm,
found that out for myself when first I was diagnosed with fibroids, and then when I was pregnant with my daughters. And I realized that the apps that exist don't they don't probably don't intend to sideline me and my
yeah.
experiences, but because I'm not the main target market, they are
Yes.
not putting the things that would relate to me, my culture, my demographic in those apps. So I found
Yes.
that they didn't speak to me. And so we had a conversation with him and I and thought, what if there was an app that did speak to women like us that could understand our bodies in our context and give us health and wellness tips in a way that's relatable? And so
Mm,
these days, the app can tell me what food I need to eat in the different fat phases of my period. And those
yeah.
are foods that I can walk into my kitchen and make. I think
Yes.
that was really what I wanted for myself. So I said,
Mm.
let's make it.
That is absolutely amazing. And the amazing thing about your app is that it has created a whole community of women, African women, in the whole diaspora, not just
Mhm.
in Ghana. I think I'm part of the community as well. Woo, woo, woo,
Mhm.
woo. And we've had conversations with French speaking Africans in France and people in Nigeria and people in South Africa and women all over having conversations about the same issues, having conversations about like ovulation and understanding our cycles, and like we've had
Mhm.
so many weird questions in there.
Right,
How has technology made it easier for women to be able to access things? Because honestly, like to me, I'm like, how can technology make my life easier? And especially as a mother and as a woman, how has those, and how did you think of tapping into this technological, should I say, way of helping people?
right. I think maybe it's a subject of our generation.
Yeah.
We are very like we take on new things, we adapt to new things quite quickly. So
Yes.
when tech became a big thing, we were all about tech. Like what's the app for this thing? There's an app for
Yeah.
it. I'll use
Yeah.
it. So when so of course I started tracking my period maybe in my 20s using an app. But my mother
Yeah.
didn't track. But I remember my mother had a calendar in her bathroom where she would circle the dates and actually write when her period is coming. Like I can see it on the back of the door in her bathroom right now. That was how she tracked her period
Wow.
with a pen in the calendar.
Okay.
But then the concept of tracking periods was already on my mind then. So when
Yes.
I started my period, I would also track with a pen and a paper because that's what I had seen. And then
Yes.
when I realized that there's an app for it, I was like, yeah, that makes my life easier. I'll use the app. So I
Yeah.
started to use the app. Then I realized, wait, if there's an app for it, that means that there can be an app that feels more relatable, but I haven't found it. And at the time when I said, somebody should make it, it was just a thought, like somebody should make this app. But recently, in the last like 4 or 5 years, when I started to actually think about it, the question was, why don't you make the app?
Yeah.
You have the experience, you understand the gap. Why don't you just do it? So
Yeah.
the adoption of tech was already quite easy. When I had
Yeah.
kids, I would track everything on an app. I would track
Yeah.
the entire pregnancy on an app. I'll track their nap, their feeding, left boob, right boob, everything on an app.
I
So
can see that.
whereas some people would say, oh, you should put like a wristband on one hand to remind you which boob you last fed on. I would
Yes.
just click the boob on my app and I'll remember it. So I was like, the app is making my life easier.
I
So what if it
know.
was an app that spoke to me specifically? Wouldn't that be so cool? If
Yeah.
they would, when they tell you the size of the baby in the app, they would say the size of a cantaloupe. I've never eaten a cantaloupe. Not like consciously anyway. What if it was a fruit that I could see in my local market? Tell
Oh
me
man.
about the size of the fruit that is relatable to me so that I can understand what's going on inside my body. You
Yes.
told me I should eat lentils. Yes, I've seen lentils in my market in Accra, but it's not part of my normal diet.
Yeah.
So what is it that can give me the same nutrients, but is more relatable?
Yes.
So once I was like already inside the tech and was keen to try things with tech, I said, well, I'm sure we can, transpose
Yeah.
things on here and make people's lives easier. So why not?
This is so incredible because I remember last year we had a panel discussion with just moms, and it was an AI kind of discussion. And we're talking about how important it is for Africans to be able to um, learn new technologies, because then we're able to use it to improve our daily lives. So, according to our context of living, it makes it
Exactly.
easy, so we can have apps from made in the US, but it is not tailored to our way of speaking, our way of eating, our way of living. And the
Our
only way
culture too,
that they
generally.
can make it that way is for us as Africans to actually make it, because then we know what we're talking about and we can translate it as such. This is so
Absolutely.
exciting. So you're
Absolutely.
telling me 4 or 5 years ago, and I know for a fact that just last week your first daughter had her sixth birthday.
Yes.
So this means, by calculations, that you were a mom already by the time you took on this crazy venture that has now
Yeah.
come to life. That takes you cross country and cross global, actually, in order to source funding, to bring more knowledge to it, and to spread the information with more communities in the diaspora.
Yeah.
How? How? How is the question.
Yo,
Did you start this and find the strength to be able to balance being a mom, a wife of one, and now a mom of two while still building this business? And I know for a fact that you've also been part of other technological startups.
Yes.
Share the secret, please.
Hmm. So, yes, my daughter, my oldest one just turned 6. So I've been a mother for 6 years. Wild. Um, it was actually when I was pregnant with her that I started having these thoughts.
Oh.
Around, like, I had, after my fibroid diagnosis, which was before I got married, then I got pregnant and kind of compounded the
Yeah.
thought of there should be an app that speaks to me in a way that makes sense and relates to my culture. So like the
Mm.
thoughts kind of started swelling by then, from the time before I got married and just when I was pregnant with her. But I had to have a second baby to realize, one, that I do not enjoy going into the office every day.
I know.
And this corporate life was just, it's not tailored to me. And I'm sure many people feel the same way. Look, but we can't all be
Oh, I'm
entrepreneurs.
laughing because I relate 100%.
100% you see. We can't all be entrepreneurs. But then
Yes.
I've grown up in a family of entrepreneurs, and my parents are both entrepreneurs. They've basically taken care of me and my sisters throughout our lives, being entrepreneurs, running their own businesses, things like
Yeah.
that. So my father used to say from the time we were young that we should just incorporate businesses and wait, when we are ready, we'll use them. It was just like, that's doing too much. Why am I incorporating a business that I don't need for anything? But that was
Yes.
like the kind of upbringing that I'd had, where he was just like constantly, what are you doing to solve this problem? You see a problem, what's the solution? How are you going to fix it? And he's been hammering it in for years. So I'm sure
Yeah.
he's very proud to see that it's finally working out. That somebody is listening to him and solving the problems that they're seeing around them. So it was that my upbringing was really the first thing. Then the second thing was having kids, and then having to go back into the office was just not doing it for me. I
Whoa.
was I was okay. I was managing it because I have a good team. And by
Yeah.
team, I mean my husband.
Yeah.
I have a good team.
God bless him.
That, yeah, my husband is great. And so I've never felt overwhelmed by motherhood. But sometimes it's not even about the physical task. Sometimes even the mental load, and
Yes.
just feeling like I'm leaving in the morning before they're up, head to school. And I'm coming back in the evening when they're already in bed, and just feeling like I've been kind of overwhelmed by doing this for too long, and I was looking for ways to be able to work from home full time. If a corporate job was going to allow me to work from home full time, maybe I wouldn't have been
Yes.
looking for innovative ways to just give myself more downtime. But then once that was not happening, and I was
Yes.
having to, wake up every morning and drive 2 hours into a car and back, and get to just be exhausted, and nobody's understanding that this is a job I can do at my desk at home. I don't need to come in. And it's just like, you guys don't get it. You guys don't get it. So it kind of pushed me. It pushed me to say, well,
Yeah.
look, what solution can I bring that I'm passionate about? That's also a real problem, but also gives me
Yeah.
more time at home with my kids. Like, right, I'm teaching my oldest one, who just turned 6. Well, both of them
Yeah.
really, but she got a bike for her birthday, and I'm helping her
Yeah.
learn how to ride a bike. Yesterday, we spent about an hour outside in the middle of the workday, and I could do that because I work for myself now. I can take
Yes.
an hour out of my day in the middle of the day and go and ride a bike.
Can you imagine?
And like, it's so therapeutic for me as a mother, and I know my kids love it. So
Yes.
I thought about, so yeah, that being a mother really made me want to have more downtime. So I work a lot.
Yeah.
I'll admit that I work a lot.
Well,
There's
that's
a lot going on.
perfect. You're such a
I'm
busy bee.
I'm having to like make lists constantly, check things
Yeah.
off. But
Yeah.
I like being in charge of my own schedule, at least for
Yeah.
as much as possible. And
Yeah.
being able to say that, okay, on Monday, I'll get all of this done, and be able to still spend an hour and do bedtime stories at, 7 p.m. when it's time for bed, and not be in
Yeah.
traffic. So really, I think being a mother may have been what pushed me to do this, because I wanted to be a mother that was present. I didn't want to just be one that gets up in the morning and kisses them and then goes to work, and I only see them on the weekends,
Yeah.
because that was just not it was not working for me.
And you still have a lot to do on the weekends at the end of the day. Oh gosh.
You do.
So your ventures, they serve a lot of mothers and a lot of women. How do you measure the impact of your work? How have you felt the impact of the work that you do so far?
Well, so some of the impact has been very directly as partnering with foundations to speak to, let's say, younger women who are not as privileged and don't have as much access, and bring sustainable period care their way and education about period health their way. So that's like been very direct sometimes. And sometimes it's been indirect in just getting feedback from some of the people that use our app and them telling us how having this app has changed the way they think about their periods or has changed the way they think about their period products. People are not big tampon or cup users in Ghana. So even seeing Ghanaian women championing this
Yeah.
kind of gives them pause, and they're thinking, okay, so it's not just meant for the people, the other people like us can also use these, and then they start to ask questions, and now their curiosity becomes a little more heightened, and once that curiosity is heightened, they know where to go to satisfy their curiosity. So the impact has really been with the direct stuff, but also the feedback here and there from people like you who are telling us
Yeah.
about how the community is impacting them, about how the app is impacting them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really been how we're measuring it.
I love that so much. And just going back a little bit to what you said about having time. I don't know how moms who have to go into the office every day do it.
So,
And I know they have the passion that they need to be able to do what they're doing. But I remember last Saturday, I had to leave my son with family and friends to take care of him because I had work, and my sister who usually helps me had to go and do something, and my husband was out of town, and I cried. My son was okay. He didn't even cry because he knows this family and they're always together. But I cried because I was like, this is so hard. And I was only going to
mhm.
be away for like 4 to 5 hours. I can't imagine if I had to do this every day or leave my child from when he was 3 months old. Because right now he's like 9 months old. Some people are probably listening and being like, oh, this
As you
woman.
begin,
But
I'm
it
gonna cook
was so
rice.
difficult for me. I just can't. And, God bless all the moms who have to, work traditional jobs because that is their passion and their calling, or that is what they can do right now. But my question is, how is technology in itself shaping the future for moms and women to be able to have options? How do you, I mean, you're a lady in tech, how do you think that is really opening the opportunities for African moms, African ladies to be able to venture into new spaces or even be able to work more effectively in whatever corporate space they want to be in?
I think the thing with tech is it's encouraging innovation, at least for
Mm,
me and people that I talk to. When you see that an app or some technology can do this, it makes you start
yeah,
to think, what else could it do? What else could be done? So I think that first of all, it's allowing women to be able to work remotely. So people are beginning to shift their paradigm that maybe I don't need to go to an office 9 to 5. If there's a
yeah,
remote, I don't know, research position or a remote answering survey questions position I can do and earn this
yeah,
amount of money and be able to continue living my life the way I have it in Ghana, maybe I can look into that. So I think it's encouraging innovation for sure. And I'll do a soft plug here. Apps like Poka are also doing this, are also helping women to be able to take charge of your reproductive health, in that
yeah,
we know that our faces really do affect the way we just embrace life, basically the way
yeah,
we face life. It depends on which part of your face you're in. That will determine how keen you are on to go to work this Monday, or how like motivated you are to get this project done and things like that. So an app like Poker will kind of keep you grounded and remind you that this is the phase you're in. This is what you should
yeah.
expect of your hormones and your feelings this week, and therefore
Wow.
help you to plan towards it. So if you know that by all means, I have to be at this job or at this task or in this presentation at this time, and I can't get out of it, then at least here are some ways that you can prepare yourself towards it. There's some food you can eat, something you can drink, some exercise you can do that will help you to
Yes.
brace yourself to face your day in the phase that you're in. So that's one way technology is helping women. I think remote work is a big way, but generally, I think African women, we've been carrying the economy of our continent on our backs with entrepreneurship for years.
For
But I think
years.
that innovation is increasing. I mean, there are women on TikTok doing amazing things, and they didn't have TikTok 5, 6 years ago. And
Yeah.
suddenly they've managed to get on there and they are selling big things. They are doing great content, and this is somebody's full-time job. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. And you know, when I think about just right now, us being able to have this interview just to make your life easier and you continue, and our audience is able to
Mhm.
listen to it from wherever they are by and you can have this interview from wherever you are is really such a privilege and something we couldn't have done just a couple of years ago. You know,
So
so
true.
that is a very, very good point. And just thinking on that, as overseas, women in tech is already a big thing. You know, it's not really as capped as it is. How have you found it as a woman, as an African, breaking into? A lot of people don't even understand AI. A lot of people still don't understand technology. And if you told your parent, "Oh, I'm going to start do a startup," like it's not really still a very understood kind of industry. How what are some of the challenges that you went through as a woman breaking into tech? I mean, you sounds like you had a dad who was already like, "Girl, go figure things out. What are you doing to make the world better?" But it's
Absolutely.
not the case for everybody, you know. But what were some of the challenges, even with that motivation that you had to be able to break into the tech industry?
Challenges for breaking the tech industry. I think there's lots of it can be internal, where
Mm,
our idea of tech is that you have to be a software developer. So if you're
right.
not a software developer, then you question yourself, can I even do anything in tech? I'm not a developer. I'm a lawyer. That's my job. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And that's what I trained for the last 8 years. And now I'm in tech. I didn't even think of myself as a person that could be in tech. I was like tech adjacent. I enjoy, like I said earlier,
Yeah.
I like learning about new tech and learning about new apps and
Yeah.
figuring out ways to get things done to make my life as easy as possible.
Yeah.
But a lot of people could be internal where you're like, I'm not really in tech because I can't code.
Yeah.
I can't build an app from scratch.
Mm.
But these days there's tools to help in all of those ways. There's
Yes.
AI. You can actually build your own bot within, say, your own GPT bot within ChatGPT to do certain things for you. The, the barriers are now really just remaining internal. So some of the challenges that I faced were a lot of times internal and thinking, do I have a
Yeah.
right to even be here? And
Oh,
when you say women in tech, doesn't really cover me. And having to kind of overcome that and realize that by working in the industry that I'm in and by using the tools that I use to bring these solutions, yes,
yeah.
I'm a woman in tech, and it's time to embrace it and allow myself to be the change that I want to see. Yeah.
That's so good. That is so good. Thank you so much for that. And being a mom, creating tech businesses, you are balancing being present with your children, being present with your family, and creating an industry where you like overcoming yourself even in this industry. What advice would you give a new mom or give yourself if you look back to the beginning of getting into the tech industry? What advice would you give to a mom who wants to build a business, whether in tech, just generally, or is trying to pursue a career but they don't feel like it's possible to balance things?
It's definitely possible to balance things. Absolutely. Go for it if you want to do it. I say, of course, speak to people that you think you can rely on, you can trust to give
Yeah,
you the best advice, especially tailored to your situation. Because this what I'm saying will be very general, but speak to somebody that
yeah,
knows your situation and therefore can speak to your situation. Somebody you can
yeah,
trust and can speak to that specific thing that you're in. But
yeah,
don't let being a mom be the thing that holds you back. I think that for too long, that has held women back.
yeah,
And the big thing for me is that was a prayer that I prayed when I was pregnant, that I
mm,
wouldn't lose myself, that I wouldn't,
yeah,
cease. My identity wouldn't just be she's a mother.
Yeah.
But as much as I love being a mother and, my kids are great,
Mm.
I don't want to, because before they came along, I was a person and I want to
Yeah.
be able to exist alongside this new person that I am, which is being a mother. I didn't
Yeah.
want my children to so consume me that I wouldn't be able to just experience any part of life beyond nurturing them, because I've left my mother's house and my mother's no longer has kids living in her house. I wouldn't want them to leave and then now I'm like lost. I don't know what I am
Yeah.
without my
Yeah.
children. So I was very determined to continue to grow alongside my children. So if I'm going to tell women anything,
Yeah.
is that be more than your children's life giver.
Mm.
Grow alongside them,
Yeah.
learn something new, improve yourself. I wasn't in tech when I had my children. And I am now, I've grown, I've
Yeah.
built businesses since having children alongside them. So
Yeah.
good to have good community around you to support you, but be
Yeah.
determined to improve yourself along
Mm.
with your kids. Maybe pick a habit when they are one. And so that by the time they are 20, you're 19 years into this new habit and you're an expert at it.
That is
Think
so
about
good.
that. Like, grow along with your children because they will grow whether you like it or not. And when they grow, they'll go and start their lives. You don't want to
Yeah.
be just a lump of she used to be a mother. So yeah, definitely do it. It's not impossible, it's not difficult. And I know even the part you keep asking me, how are you doing it? How are you doing it? I think it's just by the grace of God. I honestly believe that it's by the grace of God and sheer determination. Like I just refuse to not do it because I have children. I would
Mhm.
hate for that to be the excuse. I
Yeah.
wasn't able to achieve this thing because I have children. Yeah,
That's
sometimes having children is the reason why I can't do certain things because it just doesn't make logistic sense.
yeah.
Because like for example, I can't come in on Saturday because childcare issues, blah blah blah.
Yes.
But it
Yes.
doesn't mean that I won't do this thing anymore. Let's find another way to do it. You
Let's
know,
find a
um,
way.
Exactly, find a way. And anytime that you feel like, yes, I have to give up this one day because of my children, the next day get up and do it. Right now, they're standing outside the door, playing music and singing along to themselves, literally being held back by their dad, I'm sure, so they don't
Yes.
barge in here. But it's working out. I've got
Yeah.
30 minutes to myself, so even if you're going to get pockets of 30 minutes a day, do
Yeah.
it. Improve yourself, grow, be more than I am a mother.
And Adwoa, you have dropped so many gems today. And if you're just listening in, we're right here on Money Hub, and we are finishing off our motherhood and business series with the best advice. Don't let your children be the reason why you don't become what you want to be. So if you want to be a full-time caregiver, you might even end up being a caregiver for other people's children, and that might be your calling. But don't let it stop you because you have a child. If
Yeah.
having a child is stopping you from being the best caregiver in the world, then that is just an excuse. And if by God's grace and sheer determination, you can make it. We're on the conversation with Nana Adwoa, a mother running a tech business. And Nana Adwoa, where can they meet you?
Um, Online. Because I'm going first of all, you should
Perfect answer.
download Poka Health App on app stores and everywhere. Check it out, download it, try the app out. Message me anywhere to tell me what you think. Instagram, Twitter. Do people use Twitter anymore? But Twitter. Um, yeah, maybe Sundays. Come to C3 Ignite.
This is the best line I've heard all day. Come to church, meet me if you would like to meet me in person. So
Because
follow
literally, working from
Nanajwa.
home is free for me. I don't go anywhere.
So besides church, she's always online. So join the
LinkedIn.
Poka Health community. Download the apps from the Google Play Store, from your App Store. Find them on Instagram, on X, previously Twitter, at the Poka Health app, and you will be blown away by the community you find and the amazing technology that you experience. Thank you so much again, Nanajwa. And before you
Thank
all
you
run
so
away,
much.
we're just about to talk to our second mom um, on another tech related business that will help you as mothers. Stay tuned. And continuing our conversation on motherhood and business, we are going to be speaking to our second business mom with tech business. And our mom is Larissa Akrofie, who is a mission driven program leader with 10 plus years of experience advancing education and workforce development across sub Saharan Africa. At MasterCard Foundation, she manages the girls' education portfolio, working with partners like FAWE and CAMFED to improve access, retention, and skills for adolescent girls and young women. She's also the founder of Working Motherhood Initiative, an advocacy platform promoting flexible work, maternity protection, and equity for African working mothers. Larissa is known for bridging strategy and empathy, bringing both vision and execution to programs, partnerships, and mentoring. I know this sounds like a LinkedIn profile summary, but that is just the wealth of experience that our next guest brings to this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Larissa. Welcome.
Thank you, Zipporah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I usually ask you to tell us the inspiration for what started this, but what I want to know first and foremost is what led you into tech to start with?
Okay. I'll introduce myself. I usually introduce myself as first as a mother before anything else, because that experience alone really reshaped how I see leadership, work, and community. And yeah, I'm the founder of Working Motherhood Initiative. And professionally, you've already mentioned it. I've spent over a decade working across enterprise development, education, and workforce development. But I think it was really becoming a mother that has truly redirected my purpose. And the inspiration behind Working Motherhood Initiative came from my own journey of balancing ambition with caregiving. After my children were born, I quickly realized how invisible working mothers often are, even though we make up such a huge part of the workforce, especially in our context. And most conversations around us were either about sacrifice or survival, but
Yeah,
hardly ever about thriving. And I remember thinking to myself, if I, with my all my networks and my access, still feel stuck and overwhelmed, then what
yeah.
about the mother who doesn't have the same resources?
Oh, man.
And so that was really, the seed. I wanted to build a space, a community where African mothers could feel seen,
Mm,
supported, equipped to pursue
yeah,
both family and career.
yeah,
And what began, you know, as a small website that I created to share maternity protection laws,
yeah,
build a sense of community. Now we built what we call the motherboard community,
yeah,
um, give moms a sense of, um, you know, encouragement, but also access to job opportunities, has now grown into a community of over 600 mothers across
wow,
different countries on the continent.
wow.
And it's really become, a space where we we connect women not just to opportunities, but most importantly, reminding each other that our ambitions are valid. And so that's really how Working Motherhood Initiative started.
That is so incredible. And it's so funny because a lot of the moms that we've had conversations with over this month, most of their businesses came in after they gave birth, which is so crazy. As if all the experiences that we had before motherhood didn't even prepare us enough. The motherhood journey just brought a next level of like focused, like energy and a focused determination. When it comes to you have many years of experience already in technology. And now going into this initiative, how exactly do you see mothers having an advantage over others actually in this industry?
I think motherhood has taught a lot of us about resilience, um, empathy in ways no textbook could ever teach us. And for me as a mom, I lead differently now with more
Yeah.
patience, but
Mm.
also with sharper focus. If you can get, a toddler dressed and out of the house in the morning, You can run a team very efficiently. But more importantly, motherhood has given me a sense of urgency. I don't build for someday. I build for now, because I know what's at stake for mothers trying to balance everything. And so for me, this is how motherhood has influenced the way I approach leadership, innovation, and business building. And I see the same for other moms as well.
Wow. And um, man, I'm so floored because when I first started my motherhood journey, I'm only 9 months into being a mom. And I've noticed from obviously the despair before I gave birth, where I'm like, what am I going to do? What is the new normal going to look like? To now being so, like, the amount of time I get, let's be honest, with a newborn is very, very short. But in what I can accomplish in that short hour, I'm like, what was I doing with my life when I was by myself? Man, I was wasting time. I was wasting money. I was wasting everything. But now everything that I get, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's opportunity, I seem to just have a focus on what I want to do with it. And I think the impact has really been something that I never imagined. And I'm sure as the years unfold, I'll even see the ripple effect of that. What are some of the hard challenges that you've had to overcome being a mom and probably helping other moms overcome in this time?
Okay, so I noticed two real gaps, based on my personal experience, and
Yeah.
especially what motivated me to start my venture in now tech with what I'm doing, Motherboard. So first is access. So
Mm,
many Nigerian mothers don't lack ambition or talent. What they
mm,
lack are the flexible pathways to express
yeah.
it. And then the second is context. Most of the solutions out there aren't designed for African realities.
Yeah.
So we have patchy internet, long commutes, childcare that's family based instead of formal, and employers who still equate productivity with physical presence.
Yeah.
And so, what we started with Motherboard began by meeting mothers where they already are. So, we are using WhatsApp as a community for now, sharing job leads, encouragement, practical advice, workshops around how to rebuild your career.
Yeah.
And for me, that simplicity is why I think it's grown so quickly. But
Mm,
now we are moving into the next phase, building an AI powered platform that makes the journey smoother
mm,
but more personalized. And
yeah.
the idea is not just to give mothers access to opportunities alone, but also to create systems that will save them time,
Yeah.
reduce overwhelm, and restore confidence. Because for mothers, opportunities without design can quickly become a burden, another
Yeah.
burden. So this is the next phase that we're thinking about in terms of motherhood.
This is such a deeply thought out initiative because all that you're saying, I'm like, check, check. That is exactly what I need. Because it's not that we lack the resilience, the experience to be able to do the work that we apply for, but there are so many things that we are burdened with, family, just mental overload of a lot of things that we are tackling. And when we don't have the right systems, especially in the African context, oh my goodness. So before I even became a mother, I was so overwhelmed by how hard the systems are created in Ghana, where, for example, an employer employs you for one role and you end up doing five different roles. I think this is an everyday story for most Ghanaian workers, where you end up filling in five different roles and there is no structure to support you. There are no support people to support you. You have to figure it out yourself. And so for me, that was not something that worked for me because working in South Africa, which has a different kind of almost an American style system, you have everybody playing little roles. So if you're a manager, you have an assistant, and the the other. Everybody's playing their part, but in most parts of Africa, that is not the case. So you talking about these systems is so invaluable. And just talking about systems, how do you see these systems that you're creating helping tech industry in Africa? Because I mean, yes, the West is way ahead in terms of AI and technology, but Africa is still a baby at it. We're still getting to understand Chat GPT and how to make Google Drives, like everybody understand access to Google Drive and even sending emails. Where do you see the tech industry going in Africa, and how is Motherboard playing into this growth?
Yeah, I think technology has given everyone something priceless, which is choice. And for mothers specifically, it allows us to work, learn, and connect on our own terms. Whether it's joining a remote meeting after a school run, or maybe taking an online course at night, or building a business. These are the opportunities that our mothers and our grandmothers never had. And so tech, I think, really collapses distance and time, and it's given us access to networks, resources, and markets that were, once far out of reach. But the real transformation for me happens when we don't only focus on technology, but also on the psychology behind how people, and in this context, mothers, engage with it. And you can hand a mother a list of opportunities, but if she feels overwhelmed, doubtful, or unsure where to start, she may never take the first step. And I've seen that with a lot of moms in the community. Mothers already carry a heavy mental load, which I'm sure you're familiar with, juggling caregiving, household management, work ambitions. And when technology is paired with psychological insights, I think it does more than provide information. It builds confidence, and it helps mothers move beyond or move forward with less stress. And that's why in the next phase of Motherboard, we are thinking very carefully about both. Tech will do the heavy lifting of curation and access, but psychology ensures the experience is human, supportive, and confidence building. And together, I think they will make such a huge difference, between a mother simply seeing an opportunity and a mother actually believing that she can go after it. And for me, that's the sweet spot. Technology as the enabler, and psychology as the bridge, and I guess dignity as the outcome. So that's what we are thinking of in terms of motherboard, but how I envision both tech and psychology coming to play at this.
That is so wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing this wonderful initiative with us and the world, because this is what we need. My next question is about balance. How have you personally been able to balance having two children, starting a business, and a family, and you're also a family person, you have a husband and you have children. How are you able to balance that and build this wonderful community and support you, creating a mentoring community as well? How are you able to balance that, and what has been the grounding force for you?
I get this question a lot. I don't believe in balance as a perfect state. I think more of it as, I believe in rhythm. Some weeks, motherhood takes center stage, and then other weeks, work does, or what I'm trying to do at Working Motherhood Initiative does. And I've learned to be fully present in whichever role I'm in at that moment. I also integrate. So my kids know what I do, and they see me working. So they learn that ambition and family can coexist, which is really important for me. And for me, community is everything. I have family support. My mom has been super helpful. My husband has been super helpful. And they are the ones who really hold me accountable. My community of moms on the Mother Mod community, they also hold me accountable. And it also keeps me really inspired. And on the practical side, I can say stuff like weekly planning or clearing list of must do versus nice to do things.
Yeah.
And yeah, the principle I live by is simplify and delegate when you can, whether you're at home or at work. So this is really how I'm balancing. I don't think it's a perfect state. It's more of freedom. Yeah.
I think this is the theme that I've been hearing, that there's no such thing as balance. Support, support, support.
Yeah.
Just being accepting of the new reality of who you are and like where you are. That is so good. So for any mom who is either getting into the mom journey or is well in the way, but is scared of doing big things. Like, for example, tech is one of those industries that is very daunting for a lot of people when they hear about it. Or most people think it's just for men, men are the ones who are doing IT, tech, and all that kind of stuff. What advice would you give that mom um, about that ambition that they have in their heart?
Yeah. My advice is always to start small, but
Mm.
start. Don't wait until it feels easy, because it never will. Protect maybe 1 hour a week for your dreams and let that hour grow. Find community, because courage is very contagious, and
Yeah.
that could also help motivate you. And use technology as your ally. It's our friend.
Yeah.
It can give you speed, visibility, reach, whatever you need to get your work done. But most importantly, don't believe the lie that motherhood disqualifies you,
Oh,
because motherhood is leadership training in disguise. And I always tell everyone, and the patience and resilience and creativity you build as a mother are exactly the qualities that the world needs in leaders today. So, whatever you do, start small, but start. And it's always helpful to have a community that supports you and encourages you and motivates you. So if you can find that, that is also helpful.
that is so fantastic. Thank you so much, Larissa, for sharing your mom journey with us, your business journey with us, and all your tech innovative ideas. And this is us at MoneyHub. We had Nana Adwoa of Poka Technology, and now having conversation with Larissa Akrofie of the Working Motherhood Initiative. If you would like to know more about these amazing women, you can find Larissa Akrofie on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You can follow the Working Motherhood Initiative and join the Motherboard community as well. Is there a website they can find that?
Yeah, sure. You can just go onto our website, workingmotherhoodinitiative.org/motherboard. And you can read more about what the motherboard community is about and then sign up as well.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening in to this conversation. This last month has been absolutely incredible with all these business moms giving us the insight of their journey into motherhood, their journey into creating the businesses that are helping mothers and helping us and hopefully making this world better. I encourage you, do not feel down. Just be encouraged, be inspired by these stories, and join us again next week as I unfold to you guys the new series that we're about to undertake. So, this is Apora Dankwa right here on Money Hub. Keep listening. And if you'd like to connect with us, go to @MoneyHub_official on Instagram, or you can follow me at I am Zipporah Dankwa on Instagram for more. See you next week. Bye bye.